Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, Magnetic Reversal News, Sacred Geography, Shinrin Yoku, and Yurt Life, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Friday, September 29th, 9 p.m. Mountain Time 2023. Fears rise of volcanic eruption near Naples after the strongest earthquake in 40 years was felt at Campi Flegrei. Keep calm. It's super volcano boom time. Parts of New York see the wettest day on record ever as life-threatening flooding submerges subways and streets. All of New York City's 5 boroughs were under flash flood warnings Friday as torrential rains flooded streets and subway stations, causing massive system-wide disruptions. Impacts were especially felt in Brooklyn, where more than 6 inches of rain fell. And it was holy hell. State of emergency in New York due to flash flooding. Torrential rainfall hit New York City and surrounding areas Friday, sending waves of water through the city and saturating many vehicles.
A state of emergency was declared in New York City Friday as torrential rainfall sent waves of floodwater through Brooklyn and caused problems across the city. Look at this. Streets and sidewalks were turned into lakes of choppy water. Flooding pushed against buildings and into basements. There were reports of rescues from some lower-level apartments, harkening back to the deadly remnants of Hurricane Ida 2 years ago. Residents were urged to shelter in place, but many tried to go on with their day. Some struggled to walk or ride bikes, and commuters found themselves stranded in floodwaters that looked to be several feet deep.
Cosmic rays much? This has everything to do with our weakening magnetosphere, the grand solar minimum we have entered, and the fact that Hunga Tonga blasted 14% more moisture into Earth's atmosphere. LaGuardia Airport flooded as well in New York City in the wettest day ever. Stunned passengers are seen wading through terminal only to find subways also suspended as the city buckles in some areas under 8 inches of rain. It's insane. Take a look. That's a terminal. Yep. Just another day in New York. Walking through the fish pond. Whoa! Holy macaroni. And take a look at this shot here. Insane. That's how you have to get onto your airline at LaGuardia. Holy macaroni. Now, the record-setting chunk of Colorado hail has been confirmed. On August 8th, storm chaser Dan Fitz found a large chunk of hail near Kirk, Colorado. And, it is a record. 5 7/16 inches is a new state record, shattering the old record, by the way, by over an inch. And this is a sign of the times. More large hail will be falling in your future. The next decade will be epic. Let's take a look at the National Hurricane Center. We have 2 storms offshore, and we reported that, some of the models were getting a little crazy and getting a little, they were completely unconfirmed. Let's take a look at the track of Philippe. All the models showing it turning towards Africa and Europe, which is good news. Only one showing it coming to the mainland, meaning that Philippe is probably not a threat. Let's take a look at Rena. Most of Rena's models showing it doing the same thing, headed out towards the Azores. So Rena may be affecting the Azores in the near future. But overall, there is no threat to these 2 tropical systems as the tropical storm season slowly comes to a close. A few weather hazards to contend with this weekend, however. A few weather hazards are expected across the lower 48 this weekend. Locally, heavy rain from showers and thunderstorms may result in flooding in Florida, and heavy rain is also possible on Saturday in a few other locations. Critical fire weather conditions are possible in the Four Corners region and Central Rockies on Saturday. Severe storms may develop on Sunday in the northern high plains. Now, the bad news is that there are controlled burns happening right now, and hopefully one of these doesn't get away from the folks over at the fire service. Europe's olive oil supply is running out after drought and the odd hailstorm. Heat waves around the Mediterranean have damaged harvests and forced producers to import from South America. Now, the good news is that European olive oil is mostly tainted and not the best olive oil you need to buy. The best olive oil with the lowest acidity is coming from Tunisia and regions in northern Africa. So please look into the olive oil industry and buy accordingly. We only buy organic Tunisian olive oil for its health benefits. And maybe you should look into it too. Who knew? Now you do. La Niña's Argentina hit with 8 feet of spring snow, and winter arrives early in Medesimo, Italy. NCAR predicting bumper snow season for much of the U.S. And we do have some, I believe, shots here. Look at Las Leñas. Continua la temporada de nieve en la provincia de Mendoza. That means it's been continuously snowing in this region. And he's looking for his perfect time for that. He is rolling over in his grave because there should be no snow at this point in our future. But there is record snow year after year, in fact. Seismic update. Interesting rumblers here north of Alaska of 2.5 kicking off. Another one here in eastern Canada, 4.2 in the Davis Strait. What's going on? Well, nothing much worldwide. Pretty low activity. Just some weird rumblers. Here's a 3.0 frac quake in Texas, the nexus of the Schmexis, as well as a 4.4 in Iran. Yeah, I said it that way. Iceland seismic update. There have been some seismic swarms over the last 3 days in Iceland. They have come to an end, but these are over major volcanic fissures, including the Reykjanes Ridge, a volcano on the tip of the Reykjanes Peninsula, and, well, some major volcanic complexes to the south. So we'll keep a close eye on those volcanoes as things develop. As fear rises of volcanic eruption near Naples, we're talking Campi Flegrei, after the strongest earthquake in 40 years just hit a few days ago. Evacuation plans are now being drafted after activity on Campi Flegrei field, which experts warned earlier in 2023 was in a dangerous state. And that means, well, it's in a dangerous state, and we need to keep a close eye on it. Here are the latest quakes near Campi Flegrei, the Flegrin Fields volcano, the last 24 hours on Saturday, September 30th, 2023. And you can see there have been 27 quakes in the last 24 hours, 2 quakes above Mag 2, and 25 quakes below Mag 2. This is still part of an ongoing seismic swarm, which has been going on now for a week, where there have been over 100 quakes peaking at a magnitude 4.4. So this is much concern. You see here more large quakes. It looks like magnitude 3 or 4 occurring just now. And so this is an ongoing uptick, which could lead to an eruption, potentially VEI 2, 3, or 4. So we're keeping a close eye on this for you. And there is no indication of a larger eruption, but things can change in an instant. Worldwide volcano news update. Ducono, Reventador, Mayon, Sangay, Nevado de Ruiz, Ducono to 7,000 feet today, Reventador to 15, Sangay to 20,000, Mayon to 10,000, Nevado de Ruiz to 20,000 feet today, and thankfully, no activity coming from any other of the suspects. Sangay to 23,000 here, Sabancay to Puffin to 24, and Stromboli, spattering dropped lava flow became inactive. So the Strombolian activity has come to a close at Stromboli. Smoke a boli. Space weather news update. We're over at solarham.net, and you can see the Solar Max sun is embarrassingly sunspot free. Couple little pepper spots across the disk, but nothing spectacular. We have a new region here with a huge plage that could develop as it heads Earth facing, but it's a little south of the equator, and we'll keep a close eye on that, as development is unlikely, as Earth facing quiet on all the centrally located sunspots is obvious. Flaring is at low sea levels, very low activity at solar max, meaning, yes, confirming grand solar minimum is in effect, and cycle 26, well, may not even develop any sunspots whatsoever. Now, scientists confirm that the first black hole ever imaged is actually spinning, which means a couple of things. First of all, The first black hole imaged is not necessarily a black hole because black holes are imaginary mathematical concepts that are not actually real things that we've been able to look at. But the cosmologists don't care that they can't actually see them. They use sparse data to make insane extrapolations and come up with conclusions that are so far from the truth that they need artists to render pictures of shit that has never existed in life. Like this one, which is the cover photo of tonight's video. And we're going to dive deeper into it tomorrow morning on the radio show about, well, the huge problems in cosmology currently. One of them is SpaceX's satellites. They're leaking unexpected radio waves. Yes, and scientists now confirm it. Constellations of satellites swarming Earth's orbital skies are currently polluting wavelength bands that are supposed to be protected for radio astronomy. According to new research, the electronics on board SpaceX's Starlink satellites are leaking low-frequency radio waves, LFRWs, separate from their allocated downlink bands, in a way that could impact the ability to perform astronomy and many other tasks. This study represents the latest effort to better understand satellite constellations' impact on radio astronomy, according to engineer Federico De Bruno. All the links will be below for you to peruse at your leisure. Now, a farmer protecting his chickens captures a creature considered locally extinct for 130 years. Now, I thought the climate alarmists said we're in the next mass extinction. The only problem is there are millions of insects we haven't even identified on Earth. So how could we be in a mass extinction? Additionally, animals that have been formerly thought to be extinct over the last decade have been found all over the world, including this one. Yeah, take a look at this guy. The little spotted tailed quoll. Yeah, very rare animal. In fact, the largest predator in Australia, thought to be once extinct in this region for over 100 years, has now been found and photographed. Sign of the times. People's heads are popping out of their butts quicker than normal. Yep, I did it. Microplastics in clouds may be contributing to climate change, according to research. Well as stupidity and any other thing you can think of could possibly be adding to climate change. Because climate change is simply a fear narrative that the mainstream is now propagandizing on the public. It's been going on for 4 decades, and it is now reaching a crescendo of bullshittery. And why do I say it's bullshittery? Well, because more than 1,000 new coal-powered electrical plants are being built in areas that no one is telling you about. Yeah, the majority in China, some of them in Africa, a couple of them in Russia, even one in Australia. Holy macaroni. So the world is not following the West's net zero bullshit gobbledygook green agenda. They are capitalizing on it, and they're building coal-fired power plants to take over the world while we sit around and suck our thumbs with $6 a gallon gasoline. New research puts the age of the universe at double the current agreed upon number. Holy macaroni. The universe is twice as old as we thought it was forever. All of a sudden, something is afoot. There is a problem in cosmology because infinity does not equal 26.7 billion. Trust me. And a new study claims to remove the human bias from the debate over the dinosaurs' demise. The only problem is the computer model they used, they filled with human bias. So please tune in tomorrow at revolution.radio, 12 noon Mountain Time, to hear about the charlatans that are claiming they're scientists. Here's the paper, A Bayesian Inversion for Emissions and Export Productivity Across the End Cretaceous Boundary. The reason you don't understand this title is because they don't want you to understand the fraud within the paper, which is only 5 pages, so go get it. And if you haven't seen, last night we put out a 44-minute expose on globalist agenda, transhumanism, and the cult of fear. And not enough people have watched this. We need 10,000 views on this. We need you to share this everywhere. This may be the most important video we've ever created. It's about food, the truth, the facts, the problems, and the solutions. And that is a boom to knowledge. Please share this video as we need your help to grow. We are shadow banned. They don't want you to know this information. Become a Patreon. Support the work we do. We love you. Be safe. And that is a boom to knowledge.